All right, let's go ahead and get started. If you entered that URL, it should take you to this Google slide here. Once you're on here, go ahead and click the link for the resource doc right here. Okay? And then you'll see the link that'll take you to this document here. Where there are online resources where you can learn more about a specific topic, I've tried to provide those. So of all the things that I'm covering today, you're able to actually click on the link there and see the support article that provides more details on it. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And I'm just going to be going down the list here, talking about Google Drive. So Google Drive is our online cloud syncing solution that we have here. It's known as Google Workspace, the suite of productivity applications that are associated with it. That includes Google Slides, Google Sheets, Google Docs, probably the most famous of them. But we're going to focus on Drive right now, and Drive is sort of the hub. That's where everything gets stored, all right? And how you get to Google Drive, you can get there online, or you could access your Drive files if you have the Google Drive application installed. We'll be talking about that a little bit later during the presentation. But for right now, if you would open up a new tab on your device and just type in drive.google.com. If you've been to my trainings before, you know that you can get to any Google product by typing the name of the service followed by .google.com. So if we wanted to get to Docs, who can help me out? How do we get there? What would be that address? Docs.google.com. Yeah, that's it. All right, so mine may look a little bit different from yours. It really depends on where you land and what the layout options are that you've chosen for yourself. And I think what I'm going to try to do here is increase the size of my screen so it's a little bit easier to see. Hopefully that's a little better for you. All right, so I do want to focus on the layout. All right, so over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see that New button. New files are able to be created from there. This is also the launching point through which we are able to upload files. All right, so in addition to uploading our files to Drive, we're also able to create new Google Workspace files based on the specific app. And you have more than just these four here, right here. So you're going to see a lot more Google apps there, along with third-party applications that you can work with, right? You're going to have your Drive files listed underneath there, all right? That is a drop-down. And what's nice about having that there is it allows you to actually take content that's displayed over in this area and drag it into those folders. So you have the drag and drop. I don't know if you knew how to do that, but that's a nice feature. Okay. And we have our shared drives. All right. These are drives that have certain members that have been added. Most recent one I created was one for the Social Studies Department at the middle school. And if we click on that, we can see the contents, and we can also see the members, as well as our controls for adding additional users. Okay. You also have computers. Now, this is actually very handy because this is going to allow you to access your backups. Now, if I go ahead and expand mine, you're going to see that I've got lots of backup here. These are computers that I've had access to over the years, and I have them color coordinated and labeled a certain way so that I know which is which. And I have colored the computers that I'm using right now currently. So I've got this MacBook Pro, and I also have the one in my office. You can see those are shaded green. And so where I have Google Drive running and installed on those machines, it's actually backing up the files automatically for me. So anytime I want to get into any one of these machines and locate the files that are inside the folders that I've marked for backup, all I have to do is go to Computers, click on the computer, and here's everything. I can quickly access all of those files. Okay. Going down, we have the shared with me folder. So everything that is shared with you, you can always find it right there. All right, now it might be a mess if you've got a lot of people who've shared things with you, but I'll show you a way to search for things and find it more quickly here in a bit. All right, we'll also have the recent section there. So files that you work on a regular basis are going to show up there. And then starred, which is, you can think of that as sort of a favorites area. If you star a file or folder, you can always quickly get to it by going to that section over there on the left. And then, of course, you also have trash, which in this organization, whenever you put something in the trash, it'll remain there for 30 days. It used to be that would stay in there forever, but this is a Google policy change. All right. One other thing, it's not on the agenda here, but as a Google Workspace user in our district, you also have unlimited storage space. So this is nice. You can back up all your stuff to it. Okay. All right. Our drive settings can be customized if you'll locate the little gear icon in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. You see that there? It says Settings. Just click on that. You can go to the Settings area, and if you choose that, this is going to show you where your storage is. You have some options here, including how the information is displayed. Mine is set to a comfortable option there. You can adjust your notification options there. And then the apps that are connected to your Google Drive. You can adjust that as well. Okay. Also on that gear icon, you're going to see the link for Drive for Desktop. So maybe if you have a computer at home and you wanted to install that, just click on that link and it'll take you to the download page. If you're here as a teacher, you likely already have Google Drive installed. Okay. And then of course we have the help menu, support. So if this training doesn't do it for you and you need more, you can always click on that question mark. Go to help and support, training, get information on updates. So it's right there at your fingertips. Okay? All right. We've already covered the new button. Okay, that's right over here on the left. All right. Doesn't really need a whole lot of explanation. All right, but if I did want to upload something manually to my drive, I would click New, and I would choose File Upload. Then it's a matter of me navigating through my computer and finding the files that I want to bring in there. Another way to get your files inside of Google Drive is to just drag and drop it. So if you have your window here sort of off to the side, if you had a file here on your desktop, just take and drag it in here, and then it'll get uploaded. Depending on the size of the file and your connectivity speed, it may take a little bit longer. All right. Folders and customizations. Now this is important because if you're able to organize things in a logical way, you'll be able to find the items you're looking for much quicker. All right. So I'm going to go to my drive here, and you're going to see that I have folders, and I've got a way of organizing that allows me to find things. I'm a very visual person, so certain colors represent certain things. And notice you also have different views here, right? You have list view, then you have grid view. And so you can adjust that. You can see that control in the upper right-hand corner. If we can switch, we're going to have larger icons. See that? We click it again, and it takes it back to the list, which makes it a little bit harder to read. All right. So I've decided on my folders, I've capitalized all the letters. It just, for me, that's makes it easier to see. Now you can customize your folders a couple different ways. So let me look at this one right here where it says audio. So I have that set to the color red. To change the color of a folder, you're going to control-click on the folder, and then you're going to see the change color option. All right, so let's say I want to make that the color green. I could simply choose that. All right, so now that is marked as green. Let's say I want to add a little visual there that will help me locate it even easier. than what the label would normally. We're going to right click on it again and I'll choose rename. So I could type in audio, which I've done, but let's say I want to use a little picture there too. Watch this. I click in here and then I go to edit, emoji and symbols. I'll type in music. Look at this. Whoops, went too far, sorry about that. Now I've got a little graphic icon by my title, just a little visual cue for me to help me find it easier. All right. This could be useful in the classroom if you're working with your students. You say, instead of going to a folder, look for this picture, and then they find it. And then they'll know that's where they're supposed to go. Okay? Now, shortcuts are relatively new to Google Drive, and shortcuts come in handy if someone has shared a file with you. So if a file is shared with you, it actually doesn't reside inside your drive. If you want to locate it, basically what you're going to do is you're going to go to shared with me, right, to find that. So here's an example. Let me show you how shortcuts work. So this file right here, this is a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet shared to me by Mr. McCurdy over there at the high school. Well, I've got a folder that contains all the stuff for the band competition. And I don't own this file, but I want to be able to quickly get to it and find it. So what I'm going to do is if I control click on the file, you're going to see the option to add a shortcut to Drive. Now watch what that does. We click that, add shortcut to Drive. It's going to let me navigate inside my Google Drive, and I can go to the folder where I want to put this. All right, so this is going to be, it looks like I don't have a, well, no, 22. Yeah, here we are. 2022. That's where I want to put this. And I actually did this earlier, so now I'll have two shortcuts in there. All right, I'll say add shortcut. And now if I go to my drive. Okay, so now if we go back to our Google Drive and inside the Alcoa Band Competition folder, I should see inside the 2022 folder a shortcut. All right, so I've just placed that shortcut. It's not a file that I own, but I can quickly get to it by clicking on the shortcut. All right, that's easy enough. Let's get back to our drive. All right, so moving and downloading files is actually quite easy. Holding a folder over another folder and then releasing will actually move that folder into the new directory. You can do the same thing over here, just expand your view out. That might make it a little easier. Although I will caution you that sometimes if you're not, I want to say sure-footed, but we're not talking about our feet, we're using our mouse. If you're not great at using your mouse or your trackpad, it's easy to actually drop your file in an area that you didn't intend. So I suggest moving files another way, a way that's a little bit more precise. You can do this by selecting the file or folder and then clicking on your three-dot menu over here and then choosing Move To. You'll also see that menu if you right-click or control-click on the file or folder and then choose Move To. At this point, you can navigate to any directory inside your drive or inside a shared drive and then just move the files that way. Okay. Downloading files, you can do these one at a time if you want. You just simply go into the folder, choose the file, right-click, and then you're going to choose the download option. If you plan on downloading more than one file at a time, Google Drive will actually zip the files together to a single zipped folder. It'll do that first before it downloads. So you just select the files, right-click, and choose Download. Like I said, it'll zip it and then download it. If you choose a folder, it'll do exactly the same thing. All right, making that zip folder first before it downloads to your computer. Okay. Starring files is a great way to get organized and to find things quickly. All right, you'll see the starred section right here. All right, when you click on it, it'll show you all of your files that were marked for starring. All right, to star a file or folder, simply right-click on the file or folder and then choose Add to Starred. You can think of the Starred section as sort of a favorites area. Okay. All right, sharing files and folders. It's not difficult. You just select the file or folder, and you can do it two ways. You can share it with individuals or groups, or you can change the link settings. This will make it available on a larger scale. To share the file or folder with an individual, simply choose the file or folder, click on the share icon right here, and then enter the name of the person that you want to share it with. Okay, let's say I wanted to share it here with Beverly Boyd. I would enter her name, and then you have the option over here on the right to set the share permission to editor, commenter, or viewer. The default option is set to editor. Again, this will give them edit rights to the document. So if you don't want them to have those rights and would just prefer them to be able to view the file, make sure you choose this option. You can also enter a message here and then send it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and discard that. If you want to make the file available to a larger number of people and perhaps post the link somewhere, perhaps on a website, what you could do is you could select the file or folder and then click on the Get Link option. All right. Once we're here, you can see the general access is set to restricted, so no one can access these files except for myself at this point. All right. We can click that drop-down menu, and we could choose to make it available to anyone with an Alcoa City Schools email address or anyone with the link. So if you plan on making something available for the general public, make sure you set it to this option right here, anyone with the link. Okay. You can change the ownership of a file. So let's say you know that you're going to be taking some time off, or maybe you're moving out of district and you want to give someone else inside the district ownership of some of your resources. Here's how you do it. Let me go into audio, and I'll just choose this first file right here. And again, I'll share this with, looks like I've got Beverly. She is set as an editor here, but if we want to make her the owner, we'll click that drop-down menu, and then we'll say transfer ownership. All right. Once we've done that, she then becomes the owner, and the file appears inside her Google Drive. All right. Notice you can also remove the access completely here if you want to. All right. You will not see transfer ownership, that option, until you first made them the editor. All right. So step 1, make your colleague the editor. Step 2, transfer ownership. Okay. Okay. File versions. Let me see if I can find a PDF here inside my drive. Okay. Okay. Here's a few files here. All right. So here's some instructions. All right. So let's say I had a set of instructions in PDF format, and I published it to the web, and I put that link on my website. And then I discover, oh, there's an error on the PDF. I need to change that link on my website. No, you don't really have to do that. All you need to do is upload a new version of the file. The link address will stay exactly the same. So here's how you do this. And this applies to any non-Google Workspace file. Or I should make that a bit more clear. Any file not created with Google Workspace. All right, so Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, these sharings have their own way about them. All right, they are automatically updated, and people who have the link will see the latest version. Not so with flattened files such as PDFs or JPEGs. All right, so remember, to share a file, you're going to click Share or Get Link. All right, if we set it to Get Link, we can say I want everyone to be able to access this file. Okay, we've done that. We put the link out there. We discover there's an error. So here's what we do. We right-click on the file, and then we choose Manage Versions. All right, so at this point, all we would have to do is upload the newest, maybe correct version of this PDF. All right, once we have that uploaded, we can close this out, and folks who have that previously set link will see the latest version. Okay? That is how versions work. All right, so if we go back here to my drive, you'll see this section, it's labeled Priority. If we click on Priority, you can see we have workspaces. Now, workspaces are an easy way for you to get to the files that you access on a regular basis. You can create many different workspaces. You can see I have some here. I have a workspace for my tech training, a workspace specifically for Chromebooks, and then also a workspace for some of the displays we have here throughout the district, so I can quickly change that content. You can add, I think, up to 50 files inside any one workspace, and you see your workspaces by just, if you're inside My Drive, just click the Priority section, and here you'll have them. To create a new workspace, simply click the Create button. All right, give your workspace a name, and then click Create. All right, at this point, you're going to click the Add Files option. You can choose more here. Just a matter of choosing the files that you want to add. All right. You can add, like I said, up to 50 files, and then your workspace is set. If you need to go into that same workspace and add more files, all right, or do some other things like rename, hide, or remove the workspace altogether, click on these three options. To add more files, just double click on the workspace here, and then you can add more files. Another way you can add files to workspaces is to go inside a folder, and if you control or right click on any file or folder, you're going to see the option to add to workspace. Then it'll list all your existing workspace, and then it doesn't actually move the file, it just puts a reference file there, or a shortcut or a path to help you easily get to any of the files you specify. Okay? Alright, so that's how workspaces work. And again, you'll find those inside Priority. I'm going to remove this workspace by choosing the Remove option. Okay, continuing. Shared drives. These are going to be different than shared folders. A shared folder is going to be a directory inside your own Google Drive. Right? You own that directory. A shared folder is a shared drive is something that is going to be out there outside of your My Drive. All right, so we'll find shared drives inside this section right here called Shared Drives. Now I have lots of them here, and we set one up for a couple middle school teachers because they had some videos that they wanted to be able to present in class and have access to. And so this was a team. We went ahead and set them up. You can see it's listed right here, AMS Social Studies. We created that, and if we open it up, you can see we have select folders. These contain videos, and we have 3 people who are members of this. We click that drop down menu. We can go to Manage Members, and this will show us who are actually having access to these files. All right. And we can add others if we want to by simply entering their name right here. And then once you've entered their name, you can decide what sort of role that they have with regards to accessing this shared drive. So they can be strictly a viewer, so they can see the content. They can comment. They can contribute to the folder. If they're a manager, they can actually add, edit, move, and delete the files. And if they're a manager, they can also manage people and who joins. All right. I'm actually not going to add her, so I will cancel out of that, and then I'll click Done. All right. To create a new shared drive, you're going to click on the shared drive icon, and then you'll click the New button right here. All right. You give your new shared drive a name. Okay, let's say we want to call this Language Arts. All right, we'll click Create. All right, we are now inside Language Arts. If I want to change the artwork associated with this drive, or the theme, I'll just scroll down here and I can choose one from the gallery if I want to. See if we can find one that's representative of Language Arts. Here's one. Well, this one has a book in it. I'll choose that and I'll click Select. All right, so now it's just got me in it. I can manage members this way. I can go over here to manage members. I can rename it, can do lots of things. Again, if you want to add people to it, just choose Manage Members, and then here you'll have the ability to add individuals. And don't forget to specify what type of role they're going to have. All right. I am going to delete this drive because it was just made for practice sake. So we'll click Delete. Delete one more time. All right. Searching inside your Google Drive is actually quite easy. All right. You just type in the search field here and then type in your keyword. I'm going to type in computer and see what we find. All right. Lots of files that are marked with that keyword. But if we want to get a little bit more specific, we can do so by clicking the settings or the search option right here on the right. So if you click that, you can say what type of file you're looking for. So if I just want to search for PDFs that has the word computer, the owner, it's going to be anyone, files owned by me, not owned by me, or a specific person. So if you know someone specifically shared a file with you, you could enter their name there. Right? You just choose it and then type in their email address and it will populate. All right. We're going to say leave this set to anywhere. All right. When it was modified, whether or not the document has been approved. All right. So lots of search criteria here. All right. So we'll click search at this point. Now we'll only show the files that meet this criteria. All right. To start over with the search, simply click the X and the search has been cleared. And then you can begin again. See what we find here. All right, now notice how this is going to change if I say I'm just going to look for documents and not owned by me. Has the words Microsoft Word. Let's see. There's the Word files. All right. It works pretty well. That would be considered an advanced search when you're clicking over here on the settings. All right. Okay, so moving forward, Google Drive for desktop is actually installed on this machine. And we have it running. You can see in the upper right hand corner, we have this little icon right here. You can get to the installer file if you don't have it installed on your computer by clicking the settings icon right here and then choosing Get Drive for desktop. All right, you can download that. Of course, if you're in the district, you will need admin credentials, your building level tech, to go ahead and finalize the installation for you. Well, once it's installed, it's going to work as a continual backup service. That's going to take your files on your computer and back them up to Google Drive. All right, it'll also allow you, by having this installed, to make available files inside your Google Drive, which is stored online, available offline. So even if you lose your network connection, you can continue to work on those files. All right, so after it's installed, you need to make sure that these files are, or the backup settings are configured. And the way we do that is by clicking on the drive icon here, and we're going to go to our settings icon. All right, and then from here choose preferences. All right, so you have two areas on the left. 13040 represents my computer that I'm on right now, and these are the folders that I have being backed up. Now you can add a directory by simply clicking Add Folder, navigate to the folder that you want backed up, all right, and then click Done. Now what's going to happen, the next time this starts to sync, it's going to start taking all of the files inside Music, and it's going to put them on my Google Drive. All right. I don't really want this to happen, so I'm going to cancel out of that. This other section over here gives you two options. You can stream files or mirror files. Always choose the stream files option. If you set it to mirror, what's going to happen is it's going to take all of your files that are on Google Drive and it's going to put copies of those on your local computer. Over time, this can cause your hard drive to fill up, and before too long, it'll just be unusable. All right, so just leave it set to stream, if you would. All right, let me close out of this. Now, what that looks like whenever you've backed up your files and folders, inside Google Drive, you'll see computers. All right, click that drop-down menu. You're going to see that I have several Google Drive backups running. All right, and some of these are from computers that I no longer access, right? But I've still got the content. All right, so all I have to do, let's say I'm at home and I wanted to access something off of my computer here at work, I would go to the backup 13040. All right, so that's going to be this one right here. I click that drop-down menu. There are my files. If I go to Desktop, Documents, Downloads, I can click on those. And then here's the contents. All of that has been backed up. And all I have to do is double click on these files here and I can get right into them. All right. I've set little icons on my backups, and I've also color coordinated them so I know which ones are active. I've actually got two computers that I use on a regular basis, so I've set those to green. All right. If you control click on any of your backups, you can choose rename or change the color. Okay. All right. One last thing with regards to backup. When you have Google Drive installed, it actually integrates with your computer's operating system. So if I click on a Finder window, let me move this over here. You can see on the left-hand side I have an icon labeled Google Drive. So this is going to allow me to quickly get to the contents of my Google Drive. All right, here's all my Google file directories. And once inside here, I can actually drop content from my desktop directly into these folders and move things around just like I would online. All right, so you may prefer this view when working with your Google Drive as opposed to the online version, right? But just so you're aware, it is here. It is integrated with all of our other files and services inside our computer. So it's a nice feature. All right. I will say one last thing about Google Drive. Since this is continually syncing, and that will sometimes, well, it just makes your computer busy, all right, doing something. And it's transferring files. So if you know you're going to be working on something that is memory intensive and you don't want that processing of files to continuing to be taking place in the background, you can pause the sync by right-clicking on your drive icon here, and then once more on your gear, and you can say pause your syncing. So it'll temporarily stop taking files from your computer and putting them online. And then when you're finished with whatever task you're working on, you can come back here and resume it. Okay? All right. That's about it. One last thing we want to show you. It's related to Google Drive for mobile. And if I can pull it up here, hopefully I can. Let me go to QuickTime, just so you can see what this looks like from the mobile side of things. Okay, we have it installed. Again, Google Drive is available for Android and iOS devices. You'll find it in the web stores. All right, I've got it installed here. All right, simply tap the icon. All right, and it'll take it inside your Google Drive. You can see the options up at the top. Right now, we're looking at content inside My Drive. We can go to Shared Drive or take a look at all of our computers. All right, it works just like the desktop version. It's just the view that's different. All right, down at the bottom, we can quickly get into our priority section, our workspaces, files area, our shared area, and then our files section. All right, you are able to manipulate the folders, move them around if you want. You can see the options over here on the right, the 3 dots. If you tap any of those, you can share, change the access, add it to starred. All right, just like you would on the desktop. We have a menu over here on the left. This is going to allow us to go to recent as well as change our settings. We can go to our trash if we want to. All right. We can also perform a search in here if need be. Okay. We can also change the view. We're in list view. We can change it to grid view quite easily. All right. So this is nice to have. Basically access to all of your computers that you've logged into from your phone. All right. All right, at this point, let me close out of this and we'll get back to our presentation. Okay, here we are. So go back to the resource dock, if you would, and down at the bottom, you're going to see the training certificate. Go ahead and click that link, if you would, and then it will take you to this form. Go ahead and enter your name, the date of this training, the session title. This, of course, is going to be Google Drive. Select 1 hour, click Submit. Once you've done that, it will send you a PDF certificate with your name on it, and you'll have 1 hour of in-service credit. Thanks for watching today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, tlarson@alcoaschools.net.